These are brilliant. Hello everybody and welcome back to day 2 of my 13 days of Halloween. I promised in yesterday's video that I would do a tutorial for my little kind of Halloween mascot that I had on my bag when we went shopping. That was actually earlier on this morning for me. I spent the whole day editing day 1 as well as editing the tutorial for this guy because I did film it. I absolutely love him, so I thought today's video could be a crafty one because obviously to share this tutorial, I mean, look at it, listen to those bells. He's very cute. I've called him Claude. This is Claude, okay? But also, whilst I've got you, I'm also going to share another tutorial as well because I filmed this maybe last week, the week before, and I was going to share it. I just haven't got around to it. I've blooming forgotten all about it. And I've come into my craft room and I'm like, I forgot I even made that. So I also made this witchy wreath, which is about to go on my door. I blooming love it. So I made the witch from scratch. I upcycled that little happy Halloween sign and then we just assembled it all as well together with this gold. I don't know, I'm really liking the vibe of it. I kind of thought it matched in with Claude. Also, hazelnut cappuccino. No, it isn't. It's a hazelnut flat white. That's what I've got. It's very delicious. Let me take a sip. I love that syrup. It's the sweet bird one. I usually only buy the Monin ones, or Monin, but a friend of mine gave me some sweet bird ones and I actually really like them. 100% will be repurchasing that. But yeah, regardless of that, we're going to do a DIY of these two little Halloweeny babes. So hopefully you can take some inspiration away from them and they'll fill you with a little bit of joy. So if you do end up making them, definitely tag me on Instagram like I always say, and I'll show you in all my stories or something like that. But yeah, I love these. I think they're adorable and I can't wait to get stuck into the tutorial. It's called On My Cardie. The only other thing I have to say for today is the fact that I'm going to be going out shopping again tomorrow to check out the supermarket. So if you want to catch another one of those vlogs like yesterday's, then stay tuned for that. I'm probably going to post that in the next day or two. Also in yesterday's vlog, you would have seen me pick up these. I'm actually just now cozying up with my coffee and my lights on and everything to DIY these, so that video will be coming. Anyway, stay tuned for that one. But for today, let's talk about Claude, the little pumpkin man, and the Halloween wreath. So I'm coming in on a voiceover because I feel like this is going to be the best way to actually describe what I'm doing rather than text on screen with a bit of music. I think a voiceover is fun, okay? And I did not record myself as I was filming these. Why? I don't know. I think I was watching a TV show at the time, and crafts are all about being cozy, okay? So get your favourite TV show on, get your favourite Netflix show, favourite movie, and get to work. So what I did was I created this little template. I just drew around a circle and put a little kind of half circle at the bottom, drew around that onto some of this vintage velvet. Vintage velvet, are you kidding? In the most burnt, rusty, gorgeous colour you ever did see. I absolutely love this, and I knew immediately, like when I saw this in my fabric stash, I was like, I need to make something out of this. So that's what I did. I folded it over, drew around my template, sewed it, turned it the right size way around, and then stuffed it. I stuffed it with wool. This was the only stuffing that I had left. I've been doing a lot of crafts recently and a lot of doll making and stuff, and I ran out of polyfill, and so I used wool stuffing. I really like wool stuffing, but that is not what this video is about. It's on about the little guy and actually making him. So I just stuffed him up and then I blanket stitch along that bottom edge, just creates that little neck shape. Then I took an offcut off a piece of wool tweedy stuff and I just stitched that on with some exposed looking stitches. Then I had 2 beads either side of the eyes. These were 3mm glass beads. These are typically what I like to use in all of my little prim pieces, so I put those on the sides, and then I stitched on a little mouth underneath the nose as well. Very simple. I know, I don't know why I needed to come onto the voiceover to tell you that, but look how cute his face is. Are you joking? I just think it's adorable. Anyway, so make him a little bit more pumpkin-y rather than look like Morph. Morph, is that little guy's name? You know, that little clay man. So instead of looking like him, we need him to look a little bit more pumpkin-y, so I actually added on these little segments by hand stitching just stitches through, basically quilting him so it looked like he had segments. I then felt like he needed a little scarf. I like to put little scarves on all of my pieces. I don't know why, don't ask me why. It's just, it's a need, a manalial itch, if you so will. It's like tucking my top into my jeans. I need to do it. It's a need, and that's what needs to happen. So I tied some twine around his neck, and then I made a little stalk out of felt. So I just took a small offcut of wool felt, rolled it up, super glued it down, cut it down to shape, and then just super glued that on top of his head and cut it down till I was happy with the size of it. I mean, look at that. Is it gonna last? I don't know, being on a bag charm, but it should do. It's like some pretty strong super glue, I'm not gonna lie. To make a little happy Halloween tag on it as well, I just printed that out onto some cardboard. I then sewed the cardboard onto a piece of hessian, then just super glued on the back of that and stuck it on, and that worked out well. I just felt like it needed something on the bottom. Then I attached some bells. These are silver. I didn't really like the silver toneness of them, and yeah, I put some gold acrylic on them to make them look not so silvery, and this is how the little bad boys turned out. Isn't he adorable? I did attach a little lobster clasp to him, but that's pretty self-explanatory. I just hand sewed on a little jump ring and then attach the keychain, but that's how I made Claude. So moving on to the Witchy Babe Wreath. Now, 2-in-1 tutorial video. This was not planned, but when I found this witch, I was like, I may as well just put it into make it into a 2-in-1 video, because that makes the most sense, doesn't it? So I was going to make a template for this one, a pattern for my Etsy shop, but I haven't got around to it, so I might end up doing that next year now. I don't know, we'll see. I'm trying to move on to Christmas now. I still do want to release Stephen pattern, but anyway, we move. So basically, you need an egg shape for the witch's head, and you want to sew all the way around it, doubled up on calico. This is just a plain cotton calico, and I used this just because I had it, and that would work as a great base. I stuffed this, then I just made sure all of the edges were nice and ironed out. I used my straighteners for this because I couldn't be bothered to turn my iron on. Then I just sewed up that opening shut. I did actually sew all the way around the egg, by the way, and then cut a slit in it and did it that way so that I wouldn't disrupt the egg shape, and I thought that was blooming genius, so that worked out really well. I then just sketched out where to put the nose. Like I said, I will be releasing a pattern on this probably next year now. I've got all the pieces and stuff, and that will have a template on where to put the face, but you can see where to put the face if you want to copy mine, or just put your own nose on it, do your own shape, you know, you do you. I just stitched around that kind of nose shape that I drew on, and what I do when I stitch this, by the way, is I put the needle in, lift it up so that some of the stuff in it gets pulled against it, and then I just put in a stitch to the side, pull tight, and it kind of gathers up nicely. I wanted my witch to be green in shade, but I didn't want it to be like perfectly green. I wanted it to look aged and a bit like weathered, if you know what I mean. So I actually just took that cotton calico and I just stained it with a really watered down sagey green colour that I just mixed from sage green and a brown acrylic paint. I just basically took a really small amount of that and put, I'm gonna say like a 1:10 ratio with water, and watered it down and just put like a light wash over it. I then added some beads for the eyes. These are the same beads that I used on the Claude little keychain. Like I said, like that's typically the eyes that I like to use on my brims. And then I moved on to her hair. So this one here, I wanted to have white hair. I was going to do black hair, but I thought white hair would do perfectly, so I just took some wool roving. I attached it by adding a couple of stitches in where a middle parting would naturally be, and then I just went to town and just hot glued that to the rest of the head just to make sure it was laying nicely and laying nice and flat, didn't look like she had any bold spots, etc. And just to keep it in place, just hot glue did the trick here. Next, I moved on to make the witch's hat. Again, I did make a pattern piece for this, but the pattern just is for sale, isn't ready yet, and it will be done next year. But you want to create a hat that will fit over your original egg shape. This will take a little bit of trial and error in getting this right, but once you have it, you are golden. You just want to stitch obviously to the point and leave the bottom edge open, turn it the right way round, and then just stuff it and attach it onto the head. So I actually made my hat out of a really stiff canvas fabric because I wanted it to be able to support itself. If you don't have a thick canvas fabric or anything like that kicking around, just use the same calico that you used to make its face, and literally just put some interface in it, or maybe even just some cardboard. Keep that hat pointing upwards, it's fine. To attach it, I just did a really simple stitch around the edge of the hat. You can just glue this on, if I'm being honest. I don't know why I took the time to stitch this. Sometimes I look back at things, I'm like, why didn't I just use glue on that? This is just a piece for me anyway, it doesn't matter. So once you have the hat attached, you'll then need to make a hat brim. You want this to be a little bit 3D, it just looks better, okay, rather than being flat. So I just cut out this like oval shape, cut down the center of it so that I had a nice slit in it, and then posted that over the point of the hat and just stitched that down into place to create the hat brim. I wanted this to be a little bit brim like anyway, with some raw edges on, and this technique worked out great. Saved me a bunch of time trying to like faff around and like sew it on the inside of the hat and then attach that afterwards. So I just did that, stitched all the way around those little bits that I'm showing you there, and again we were golden. Quite like that saying at the moment. To stain this, I did this in the exact same way. I just took a whole load of water with a bit of black acrylic paint in it and I stained it. I did 2 layers of this because once it dries back, it obviously dries back quite like thin, but also quite sheer, and I didn't want it to be solid black, so I did 1 coat, let it dry, and then I did another coat. As you can see, like that's built up, it looks a little bit more weathered. I like that look. If you want it solid, you can just use black canvas or black fabric in the first place. To add on the extra details, again just took some acrylic paint. This time here though, I added in some fabric medium because I knew I wanted these shapes to be quite like thick and bold, so I just added some fabric medium in that so that they wouldn't crack over the time. You don't have to, of course, but that's just what I did. For the sign part, the Happy Halloween sign part, I actually just had this sign that I got from Poundland or something years and years ago. I bought these to upcycle the hearts that came on them, and I bought like 4 or 5 of them at the time. I think they were 25p, and how amazing is that, by the way, for some blanks. But obviously I did need to do a little bit of prep for this, so I just cut the heart decorations off, took a nail file, and then just went to town getting rid of all of that original design. And then I painted it just with some acrylic paint, which is the same acrylic paint with a little bit of fabric paint, like medium mixed in, that I used on the stars so that it kind of coordinated. Then I just sketched out the words Happy Halloween very loosely, as you can tell, but I just wanted this to be like my handwriting and not look like it was printed on, and I feel like I did get that. It was killing me not going back in and correcting some of these letters, but we moved. I wanted it to be vintage and kind of primitive, and I added a little star at the end. Anyway, I did film a little bit of my voice at this point of me putting it together, so here's that, okay? I'm kind of exposing myself here with all of this stuff, but okay, this is what I'm thinking. Witch up here, Happy Halloween down here, and then I've got these like little corn, I don't know what you call them, corn husks, you know, off the corn thing. Like I found them in a nearby cornfield and I was like, yes, I'm gonna have those. So I picked those up off the ground, and I think that this is looking good. I'm also thinking on the top here, because I kind of bent the wreath to be like an oval shape, I'm thinking I should put some of these little stars on. So I just took these off of an old project. They say boo on, but if I just pop them something like this, I'll paint them as well. Maybe gold. I'm liking the little touches of gold, or maybe black, or maybe this colour, or maybe one of each. I'm not sure. I think that'll do it. And then I'm gonna rub coffee in it to like age the witch a little, and the sign. I think that's looking balanced. Okay, hot glue, almost heated up. I'm gonna do it. Yep, I'm gonna do it. I don't know why I didn't film the rest of this like this rather than me doing a voiceover now, but I like it better when I talk to the camera when I'm actually doing the craft, so you can actually see what I'm doing in real time. So anyway, I'm going to do that on my next DIYs, and yeah, for the next couple coming, because I like that better. Anyway, so I attached it all with hot glue. I attached those little stars, I painted them in the orange. I realised I didn't like that, so I buffed in some gold acrylic paint and they turned out
beautifully. And that was pretty much all I did to the wreath.
Thanks so much for joining me today on this crafting video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If there's any crafts you want to see me do other than those mini pumpkin pails, let me know. I do have a few in mind. I've also been filming behind the scenes of me making a big pumpkin doll because I was making a pattern for that, so I filmed the behind the scenes of that, and that vlog is coming. It's kind of like a 2-week long vlog, and I was filming over the past couple of weeks, and that's all coming together. That will be with you in a couple of days as well. But if there's anything in particular that I want to see, definitely let me know. I will film it for you, and yeah, we'll hang out together doing that. But anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for making it to this far in the video. I really truly appreciate you. If you could subscribe if you're not already, that would truly help me out. But other than that, I'm going to let you go. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Bye.